As well. But guys, as I promised, it's I think just about 5 o'clock and 5 minutes. So I'm running with Indian Standard Time, but I'm here with two super achiever women who are absolutely amazing. And I want to tell you, I was sitting in Monaco and I was watching this interview and I was getting serious FOMO because I was like, how are they doing this without me? I've been a part of a lot of this journey and want to be a part of the whole story now. And they were having this chat with each other and not including me in this story. But here I am today with two amazing women, which one of them is called Annie and the other is called Sonal. Welcome on the show, Annie and Sonal.
Hi, guys.
Hey, hi.
So the story goes that Sonal has had a very exciting past, if I may say so, and I know it's going to be an even more exciting future. And Annie had the luxury of actually getting that story out of her because, as I call her, an interesting hunter. She had all the right questions, and I was like, okay, maybe it was right that she did the first interview because she had all the right questions. Annie, I'm not going to share this story with the viewers because the idea of this whole thing is after the interview, Sonal and Annie were addressed with a lot of questions. Mm-hmm. So we decided that I would take that on since I had to be a part of it, like I said, right? The FOMO, as they say. So Annie, I want you to share the story that Sonal shared with you before we put her in a little corner to get some questions out of her.
You mean the hot seat?
Well, actually, it really started when I asked her for an interview like 8 months before, and she said absolutely no. So basically, she ditched me, right? So I know what a guy feels like. She let me down badly, and then eventually something must have clicked. And she said, okay, Annie, I'm ready for it. I will, and I actually told her, I said, it's really not about, Ranbaxy's journey. It's really about your journey, whilst the Ranbaxy saga was going on. And that's what it's actually all about, because it wasn't just one person. It was, it was quite a few people, concerned and connected in all of this. And that's a story that I actually wanted. It was a real conversation that I was looking for. And Sonal obliged, didn't she? Eventually.
Yeah, it was actually a real conversation, Annie, and your questions, I can't get over it. I don't know how many women you've instigated to take some serious steps out there. I don't want to, kind of say anything which but I kind of felt like an Arnab moment, in the middle.
Listen, do you know what?
Sorry, Annie, go ahead. Yeah, what was that?
No. Listen, you know why? I was able to ask those questions? Because I wasn't the one answering them. So
hey,
I was in a safer
I was just going to say that. It's easy to ask questions. I was in the hot seat, guys. Okay? And you two are having too much fun on my behalf. I can see that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know that Sonal, we're both having a lot of fun at your expense, and that's probably not fair. However, you did have an exciting journey, a bit tough, a lot of introspection, a lot of things you had to change in your life, and lost a lot, won something. It's always the entire journey. But Annie has given us a brief. I want you to just clarify to the viewers where you're coming from and how this happened.
So let me start with the interview because we, Annie said, so it was, why I said no to Annie first. See, it was a journey for me to actually go for the interview itself. It's one thing to go through that internally. And other than talking to Catherine, of course, Catherine Neville for the book Bottle of Lies, I never spoke about this to anybody. I never felt the need to talk to anyone about this because I thought it's my own personal life. Why talk about it? But also, what happened was post the release of the book in May and June, there was a lot of speculation. I think there was a lot of speculation to begin with, and then there was more, because of the book launch. And that's when I realized that people need to know my side, my aspect, my perspective on this too, and. And that's when I said yes to Annie. And you know what? Thank you for actually kind of convincing me to go that route, because post the interview, I felt so liberated. I just felt, this load off of me because it was out there. I'm like, okay, well, guys, here it is. We are all on the same page. Here is, I mean, it took a lot out of me, but I'm glad that I did it. Also, post the interview, I never expected the kind of response I received. I am so overwhelmed. I can't tell you. Reading through those questions, reading through those messages, I did not expect any of that. I just went for it. But I'm so humbled and I'm just so overwhelmed. Also, going through a lot of messages and a lot of questions made me also realize that irrespective of our situation, a lot of us actually, and men and women both, are going through the same internal battles, fighting the same inner conflicts, not even knowing that others are going through it, and even if they know that there are others, there's no voice, right? There is no one coming, forward, especially in the framework that we live in. It's kind of hard to just go out and talk about it. So that also made me, feel like, I think it's so totally worth it. And so there I was. It was a long, arduous journey for me to reach that point of actually talking about it in such an objective way, because it was an emotional roller coaster for me for those 9 years. And
yeah, I remember actually, because I mean, I know that Sonal was wondering, it's coming out, people have been curious, and the one thing I remember saying to Sonal, and you'd agree with this, is that I said, Sonal, the more you don't talk about it, the more people will be curious, and once it's out, it's out. You know what? That and then it's over. That curiosity, whatever it is. This is what it is. So just let it all out. And what can anyone do? It's your story. It's real life. There's nothing wrong with it. And you know what? A lot of people have been through this. It just needs another Annie or another Annie or another Annie just to ask them. And they'll all come out with a similar story. So, you're not alone in all of this. That's all I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, just to put perspective for the viewers, some of them who've not watched the interview, which is what I'm trying to do, is to entice them to watch the interview, because I think there's a lot of learning there for people. Just to put it in perspective for the viewers, Sonal's husband was the whistleblower on Ranbaxy, her ex-husband, and it cost her her marriage. And it was a very tough decision, a very tough journey, because having been through the entire ordeal, when it was over, a lot of things are over for her, and that was very unfortunate, because at least when it was over, you thought that things would look up, but unfortunately it ended up the way it did. But she's a very positive person, and I know that she's now passionately pursuing empowering women and passionately pursuing a lot of other projects, which I'm going to save that question for later, because I don't want this to be about the questions that Annie and me are going to now together address to her in our next interview or next chat that we're going to do together. But for first, I want you to also know Annie, because we are getting to know Sonal, but we also have to know Annie. And Annie, I'm going to do this for a simple exercise. That, so this is COVID-19 time, and we're all quarantined at home. In fact, it's really funny. Today in the morning, I told my husband that, how do you like my deity? He says, what the hell is deity? Are you like walking around praying, or what's going on? I said, no, I'm wearing my nightie in the day. It's the deity now, We're all in these crazy times, and that's the reason I want to, everybody's told people that you should exercise, you should sing, you should paint, you should spend time with the family, you should cook. We've been through that journey. We've already done that. Everybody's watching enough of those videos. but I know
Yeah.
you're a very well-read and a very well-traveled person, and that's the reason I'm going to address you with this one question, because I want it to be homework for the others. It's not just singing, dancing, but there's so much more we can do, right? And I believe that these, and 21 days, I believe, are transformation time in any case for people. So I believe that in these 21 days, people should actually pick a role model and pick a day out of that role model and emulate it, so that 21 days later they can be that role model. So I want you to share with people, because I know you're well read, that who is your role model. And I know you can't give 21 qualities, but what is the reason that you would, if given a choice of these 21 days, emulate that person? It could be
Gosh, when you well, to be honest, I hate to be boring, but for me, I wouldn't have said this, say, 30 years ago, and I'm not going to give away my age, am I, by saying it now. But now that I've moved on at least 2 more decades, honestly, I am that boring. I will say my mother, is actually my role model. I never understood her before, but now as I live life, I absolutely understand, where she was going with this, why she said what she said. And now I understand all those truisms. They make sense to me now when they never did before. Before I used to be a rebel.
Yeah.
So I get it. She's the strongest woman that I know. And if I even if I take a percentage from her, I've done a good deed.
That's a beautiful thing to say, Annie, but I just want to tell you that there's not going to be much effort, because we all become our mothers, good or bad. So
Yeah, I know.
And now is the time we actually relate to them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, absolutely. I pick up the phone and I say, Mom, I understand now. And she, you know what? She won't even give a comment. She'll say, "Ha, beta. Ha, theek hai."
Well said. Well said. Sonal, I know that whatever you do, and I've been a friend for a long time, as well as we have worked together on various projects as well, and including, forget, everybody has to know this, because you have to give them behind the scenes. When we decided so Sonal, within a split second of us having had a conversation, had created a WhatsApp group, which is called Table Conversations, if you please. And she had all the things and how it had to be perceived by other people, so that the wrong message doesn't go out. It has to be done to perfection. What time, what day we should be, our hair should be done. That no, it doesn't matter if there's no salon. Get out of your deity.
I had to put lipstick on. I'm just
an organized person. I had my laptop ready. I had my iPad. I had Shalini's link on. And while I'm sitting, these 2 women are actually connecting their Wi-Fi, and I'm like,
I was charging my phone.
And Annie's charging her phone, and Shalini is looking for Wi-Fi, and I'm like, oh my God, you're going right. Exactly.
We live on the edge. Okay.
We live on the edge. Exactly.
And I am the one actually living on edge right now.
So that's exactly what Sonal is. Whatever she does, she is totally thorough. And can you imagine she and me working on a project together, because there's yours truly just kind of walking into the last minute situation. And he seems like more my kind of person who's like, chill down. Okay, what's the big deal? And Sonal is, no, we have to sing, so we must sing the antara or the whatever else it's called. Whereas I'm just,
she is the general.
Know anything. Yeah,
she's the one that gives a slap on the wrist, virtual.
Yeah. Me and Shalini have actually danced together. We have sung together. We have done a lot of voluntary work together also. So yeah, and actually Shalini has also seen this aspect of whole Ranbaxy fiasco very closely, because she was here. She was a part of it also. So yeah, long association.
So since she mentioned the voluntary part of it, that is something which I've just coined a new word, because this is, Sonal, going to be dedicated to you for the rest of my life. And this is a question I am going to address most of the women that I'm going to be interviewing, because I think this is straight after their heart. And I know that Sonal is working on a passion project at this point, which is very, very important for the current moment. And I know there may be some viewers that may be able to come forward and help her. So Sonal, I do want you to share the project today as well. The one that rhymes with the Chopra.
All right. I wasn't expecting it, but thank you for giving me that platform. So we at WorldSpa, we are 10 of us working along with so we are representing the board, and we are looking to support the village of Silokra, which is adjacent to us, and a lot of our staff actually comes from there. And for some reason, Silokra was not added in either the MCG list or the Red Cross list. It has been added in the Red Cross now. So we wanted to reach out to the slum areas, and we did our own mapping, and we figured out 4 slum areas with 375 families who are actually not getting any aid or any food ration or essentials. So we are in the process of collecting funds for that as we speak. In fact, just before this interview, I was drafting the email that needs to go out to the community. So I can share all the details about the funding and the platform at Shalini said, or on my Facebook as well. And we're looking for funds to feed those 375 families who are all daily wagers living in the slum areas with barely having access to any essential or food items. We are hoping that we are able to collect. At this point in time, we are looking. So each family needs about 2,500 rupees for a month. A family of 4 for a month, if you want to support, is 2,500 rupees, and we are looking to support feed about 375. So that's about 9 lakhs. That's the ask. We are hoping that you would be able to do that.
Awesome. Congratulations on that, Sonal. And Annie, I want to end this scenario so we don't bore people and we, keep them interested to come again next time to hear us. But do end it by telling them that what's in store coming ahead on Sonal's story and many more women that are doing amazing work that we're going to bring together with us on this platform. So Annie, why don't you do that for me before we close?
Well, it's all at Sonal's expense. Well, actually, Sonal is the platform. We're hoping that the questions that Sonal received after the interview we're going to try and get some answers, not answers across, but maybe a bit of advice, a bit of experience that may go towards helping a lot more women out there who are going through a very similar situation. You'll be surprised at how many there are that just came out the woodwork, and we're hoping that it will help lots and lots of people. Obviously, Sonal, you're doing a great job. Not only are you helping the community around you, but you're also helping women as well to keep women on top. Absolutely, that's what we're looking for.
Top. Like Annie said, it's totally women on top. And I want to leave you all with the 2 thoughts that Sonal and Annie left us with. One is to find a role model and emulate in the next lockdown and figure it out. Come out a butterfly. It's a moment of transformation. Don't be depressed. Stay positive. Stay home. Stay healthy. And follow a passion project like Sonal does. That's something which keeps us all stimulated. Give back is the only answer, and that's what the nature is demanding from us at this point. This is Shalini Says signing off for today, but we'll be back with these 2 gorgeous women again, so stay tuned. Take care, guys. Until next time.
See you. Bye-bye.